So, hello, everybody. Welcome to the Economic Development Council meeting, March 11th, 2021. We have some new faces with us today. It looks like, we have the same usual suspects, but we also have some folks from Stonehill College. We have Cheryl and Steve. And I think, that's the first order of business on the agenda. So if you guys could introduce yourself, and Stephanie, if you could maybe step in at any point and just help me out in supporting this presentation we're about to hear. And Bruce, you as well. Obviously, you helped coordinate all of this. So please take it away.
Should I start? Or Bruce, are you starting?
No, Cheryl, go ahead.
Okay, hi everyone. I'm Cheryl Schnitzer. I'm a chemistry professor at Stonehill College. And Ruby Gu will be joining us very soon. She's a physics professor at Stonehill, and she's really the brains of the operation. But she recruited me a number of years ago to work in photonics with her, and it's been super exciting. And I want to I'll let Steve introduce himself.
Good morning, I'm Steve Hubbard. I'm the lab manager here at our photonics lab in Easton. I've been with the group here, still in my first year with the group, but we'll be glad to show you around a little bit today, even if it's virtual. So thank you.
Awesome.
All right on cue. Here comes Ruby. Hey, Ruby, you want to introduce yourself?
Hi. I'm so sorry I couldn't find the link. It took me a while. I'm Ruby, and you
just muted your.
Oh, sorry. I'm in the physics department, and I'm right now associate professor in the physics department. Cheryl and I start with the photonics program in 2019, and we are so excited to share our achievements with everyone for the photonics programs on Stonehill.
Excellent. May I share my screen? So we have a 15-minute presentation,
yes.
If that's okay?
Yes.
Okay.
Oops, sorry, I spoke for you, Mark.
No, please, all the help I can get today.
That makes all of us. All right, can you see my screen?
Yes.
All right, so thank you to the Easton Economic Development Council for inviting us. What a pleasure. And you're making our jobs easier by making this connection, because what we're trying to do is bridge the gap between what we're teaching in our courses and in our in our curriculum to what is needed out there in industry, and to work with companies to help them rethink this new photonics paradigm and situation that we find ourselves in this exciting time. And so here we are. I know you invited us to talk about photonics, assist with existing businesses in Easton and attract new ones. So we're going to be looking to you for answers as much as you're looking to us, because we are in a situation where we're looking to talk with companies as well. You can get more information at stonehill.edu/photonics. And I'm going to just introduce, for those of you who are not familiar with it, what photonics is very briefly. If you would like to learn 11 minutes more about photonics, you could see my TEDx talk. And you simply search for Cheryl Schnitzer TEDx or Cheryl Schnitzer TED. I think it comes up as well. And so that will also give you a nice introduction into photonics. In a nutshell, photonics is a science, practice, and technology of manipulating light. It is based on what you may think of as light waves, like when we see light, do things that waves would do, like make rainbows and things like that. And it's also based on photons, how we think about light made up of tiny particles called photons. And if we can sort of give a historical context to this, the 20th century was known for electronics, where some of you may remember when computers, or our parents, grandparents, depending on how old you are, you took up an entire room, and we saw the nice progression of devices getting smaller and mobile and faster and cheaper. And what that was because of is the electronic integrated circuit, or as we just affectionately call it, the chip. And the chip is a device that electrons could move on and do lots of great things for us and really help with technology. The 21st century is now seeing this boom in photonics. Instead of having logy old electrons on these integrated in these circuits or these semiconductor wafers, now we have photons. Now, photons can do amazing things, and so are making these devices that much more, these processes faster, with less energy, heat loss, and things like that. So this idea about photonics has happened now for years, where anything to do with light, like solar panels or fiber optics, all of that already exists. But this idea of calling it integrated photonics means that we're putting photons on that same semiconductor wafer that we've put electrons on all these years. And so sometimes they work together, and sometimes it's purely photonics, and sometimes it's purely electronics. And the applications, you name it, there's an application for it. For photonics has an application, and really cool things happening out there. And that's where our companies come in. They're really the movers and shakers of where photonics is going. And so we're trying to connect with them and help our students get into these roles that are so needed to fill. I'll just touch on one application, LiDAR. You may have heard, light detection and ranging for self-driving cars. And photonics is helping with the accuracy and precision of those processes. I'm going to turn it over to Ruby, and then Steve's going to round out our presentation.
Do you want to cover this page as well, Cheryl?
Sure. Okay. So the future is bright for photonics. And this just quickly gives you this US millions of dollar view of the upward trend in terms of the monies associated with this. This is just showing telecom and datacom data centers and high performance computing. But you can see these trends in just about every photonics related field.
All right, so I pick up from here. And as Cheryl mentioned, the photonics field is expanding, which means more and more qualified employees are needed. So it's very critical to provide a qualified training and education programs to support the training process, that after the students trained, they can go back to the supply chain to do their job. However, back to 2019, when we just start our initiatives on this topic, there wasn't much connections between academia and the industry. So on one side, they need qualified people. On the other side, we don't know what exactly they need. How do we start our program? Therefore, we partnered with the AIM Photonics, MIT State and Bridgewater State University to start thinking about creating an ecosystem for local communities, especially in our southeastern region in our local area. So with this goal, we at StoneQ start to think and lay out our missions. First, we think we need definitely to offer a curriculum and a program that's aligned with industry needs. Secondly, learning is a hands-on deal. So we definitely need to create a lab, which will be very essential for the students' training, hands-on training. Finally, we hope to establish partner or internship with industries. We believe this is the best way for students to learn and apply their knowledge. Next, let's look at our achievements in these areas. First, for the photonics programs, we are very proud that actually, as of today, there are only a few undergraduate schools to offer photonics degrees. We are very proud that we have designed the curriculum and offer photonics BS, BA, and minor and the certificate program. And particularly for the certificate program, we call it Emip Technician Certificate Program, which represents to advanced manufacturing and the integrated photonics. This program sub-awarded from MIT and supported by Office of Naval Research with $570,000 for Stonehill to develop this certificate program. We start this program last May with 12 students in the program, and they will graduate this summer. For this first cohort of students, all their tuition supported by 3 photonics-related societies, OSA, SPIE, and IEEE. So students don't pay for the program. They are supported by the 3 societies. Here shows the structure of the program. It's really designed based on industry needs. We did extensive industry survey before we start. So we really want to check the skill and the knowledge that they need. From the structure, you can tell this program based on fundamental manufacturing and extends to optics photonics to this field. So with the skill change, students will have broader application area, including manufacturing, electronics, photonics, or related topics. We will have 3 info sections for prospective students incoming soon. So if you think anyone you may know will be interested, please definitely let us know. From the lab point of view, we had won a massive state grant, $2.4 million to launch the photonics lab for education and application prototypes, which is LEAP in short. The achievement announced October 2019 with Lieutenant Governor Corinne Polito. Some of the news after the announcement showed here. That's really, really excited for us. The overview for LEAP at Stonehill, the lab currently located at 15 Plymouth Drive in Easton Industry Park. We are the 3rd LEAP after MIT and WPI. Recently, the 4th LEAP in the western part just announced. Our LEAP will focus on material and high-speed characterization. Meanwhile, it's do fundamental manufacturing electronics as well. So we will have Steve give the virtual tour very shortly. Finally, for the internship and partnership, we believe that's really important for students. They have worked really hard to build up relationships with industry partners. On the left-hand side part, we list the companies that already post the internship positions for the technician students. On the right-hand side part shows the companies that we have talked with and get connected with who doesn't currently have interns for us at this moment. But we believe as the program's going on, they may have needs in the future. There is one company, Northeastern Machine from Easton. So we hope to get more connections with companies in Easton. Please definitely have connected if you know any company that may benefit from the work that we are doing. There are many ways to get connected. Stonehill has the culture to collaborate with others. For example, if some companies may need employees with all levels, technicians, engineers, from our certificate program, we train technicians from our undergraduate programs, and we can do engineers, and we have the 3+2 program with Notre Dame University, and also we send the MOU program with University of Rochester with half tuition off for our students, and some other connections with some other schools as well. Finally, we have the lab, state-of-art lab facility. So we are open to partners as well who want to use the equipment in the lab. We are open too. So we will have Steve, our lab manager, to give the virtual tour for the lab.
Okay, thank you. Let me see, give me just a minute here. I'll make sure my camera is working well. And if I happen to cover up the microphone, somebody please speak up. I've been known to do that before. But are you
able to share your screen so we could see? Oh, actually, we could pin. You all can pin his little rectangle if you want to see it bigger. Or should I just pin? Do you see where to pin it?
How do we do that? Pin video.
So the upper
there
right.
We go.
Okay.
There, we got it now. Hold on here.
Wait, you shared your screen. Wait, so who should? Ruby, did you just share? Who shared their screen?
I don't know. I pinned it. I pinned it.
Okay.
Do you want me to do that again, or?
No, I think it's good now.
Okay.
Or I don't know. How are you all seeing this?
Can you see my video of here in the lab? I think that's what I need.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's clear.
Very good. Okay. So I want to just take a couple of minutes and walk you through. We have 2 rooms in this lab, and I think the important thing I want to get across, like Ruby said, we're right here on Plymouth Drive in Easton. This is a physical facility. All this equipment is here and it's plugged in and it's ready to use. We're about a mile off of the Stonehill campus. So we have a front door. You can contact us through the website, and we'll set up if you want to have an actual walkthrough. I'd be glad to host you at any time. So this is our main lab where we would do some research in photonic material characterization. That's the corner of the lab I'm in. Looking at a couple of our high-powered microscopes that would study the way light interacts with materials. You can identify materials, we can characterize new materials, and all of these instruments are applied for photonic materials, but have applications elsewhere. This one is FTIR absorbance. It's actually used in the food industry quite a bit to characterize purity in a lot of materials. We have over here a wire bonding station. This is a programmable wire bonder. If I can get in close enough, we can actually, you see all of these small pads that happen on integrated circuits. You can do this with photonic integrated circuits as well. This machine will connect wires to the various pads. It's fully automated, and when it gets going, it looks like a sewing machine. It's actually pretty neat. There are only a couple of these machines in the whole Commonwealth. It's very unusual to have this at a university and have it accessible like this. Moving on, we have, this machine is for, it's actually not an optics machine. This is for our technician training. It's a mechanical process that runs, and our students can be trained in machine safety, machine programming. There's a programmable controller there, general maintenance, lubrication, a lot of different skills can be put to the test here. And then finally, in this lab, we have an X-ray diffraction machine. Really remarkable to have that at a facility like ours. This is used for characterizing materials, again, thin layers. You can measure separation between atomic layers. Extremely thin layers characterize the material and thickness of these layers. Moving into what is our classroom, this is where our technician training program meets. You can see we're set up right now for social distancing, but we have a lot of equipment in here as well. Here's our Instron extensometers. These machines are high-end machines, and their function is to break things. We measure material strength, and we can break almost anything. We can break pieces of plastic. Last week, Ruby's class was in here. We were breaking pieces of steel. So it's used to measure material strength. Anybody building anything mechanical at some point has to test strength, and that's our industry standard. And then in this corner of the lab, we have a fabrication facility. We've got a small mill that can work on machining plastic and machining aluminum. We've got a collection of tools in there to make small parts, 2 inches by 3 inches or so. Over here, we have a 3D printer. Prints parts in, what we have in here now is, for example, there we go. There's a part. Black nylon. We in theory could do white nylon, but we can print, and as you can see, we've printed many, many parts. The students will come in here and they'll design the parts, and then they print them here. And then over at this machine, this is called a coordinate measure machine that the students can use to characterize their parts. They can measure radius of curvature. They can measure the thickness of a part, the dimensions of a part, and can very quickly get a quality control report on the part that they designed and built. And so that's sort of my my walkthrough tour. Switch around here of our lab. If you have questions, I'd be glad to take them. But I just want to drive the point home that we're here, we're plugged in, and if anybody has interest in seeing some of the machines work up close, let us know. We'll set something up and have you in. Thank you.
Thanks, Steve. And we're happy to take questions, but I don't know if you want to. It's you know, I don't want to take up too much time at your meeting.
Well, first off, thank you for the presentation. Thank you for the tour. You know, I did go to the website. I did take a look, but after having seen the presentation and the tour, I guess I didn't fully appreciate the revolutionary technology that is existing in Easton. I feel like I'm being shown fiber optics in the 1970s. It's like, you know, this is the future, and everyone's just kind of rolling their eyes like, oh, well, we'll see. But like, no, this is really, from what I'm seeing, this is going to become a household the term, photonics, you know, 20 years from now. And you guys are creating it and educating people and training people. And it sounds like there's not very many places in the state that is doing what you're doing, and it exists right here in Easton. So that's my first take. I'm blown away. This is revolutionary. So I'm going to open it up to any members who want to comment and have questions and see where this goes.
I have a general question because this is a lot of information and well presented, but still. So does Stonehill have the full curriculum program, or are you just training technicians?
We have the full curriculum program, including the undergraduate degrees as well, BS, yes. BA. We all have photonics BS majors, BA majors, and even minor. If they major in chemistry, they want to do photonics minor, we offer that option as well. So all types of program, except for the graduate level, all undergraduate level programs we offer currently.
Okay, so you all offer everything but the graduate. And are there other schools that are offering the graduate level?
Most photonics topics are offered in the graduate level. We are the first school at Massachusetts to offer undergraduate photonics degree.
So, I mean, this is, and so your lab is offsite in the industrial park. Is this a program that's part of the new science center?
Physics department itself in the science program. Right now, school works very hard to launch a new engineering program. I think this related to both science and engineering.
Okay. And then you mentioned you're working with Northeastern Machine. John, can you tell us about that?
You're on mute, John.
We visit a few times.
Yeah, that's better. we haven't taken on an intern or anything, but we had some early contacts with the school and learned about the program early on.
Great.
John, I would think that you, of all people, would know other businesses in town that could benefit from knowing this program, from knowing this exists. I mean, is there any way you can spread word in that? I mean, I know I think you're part of the Easton Chamber too. Is that correct?
We are a new member, yes. We
so like even in there, like there's so many people that more people need to know about this. Yeah.
I think, I always thought about it being connected to, companies that were really in the photonics industry, but I think there's a lot more after seeing the presentation. There's certainly a lot more, opportunity and applications for other companies as well.
It's really manufacturing. We have some students, and that's the beauty of it. Some students really are interested in going into manufacturing, and in our technician training program, that's what they're learning a lot of. And so they really could go into robotics or, electronics, whatever sort of they're interested in.
Thank you, John.
Yeah,
it's nice to see you again, John. It's been a while.
Welcome to visit our lab at some point.
I would love to, yes.
Yeah, I think we all would too. It would be nice to do a field trip, maybe at some point in the near future when we can all get together a little closer. Right. We do have other manufacturing facilities in Easton and within the industrial park. So, I mean, there's Pharmasol, there's the other firm whose name I always forget, and I shouldn't. And then IBC does some manufacturing. I don't know if this would be applicable, but I think they certainly might be something people would be interested in hearing about. One of the things the council has done in the past is had forums where we invite business owners. And if you, maybe we can talk about doing a forum and have you do a presentation that's kind of geared towards the businesses. We can identify who those might be.
That'd be great.
Yeah,
definitely help.
I think Stephanie, in that same vein, I think in this, we act as connectors here. So we connect you with the people that exist in the community that can benefit from knowing you, and not just businesses, but individuals who might want to participate in your program.
Definitely.
So that's how I look at our role in this. Is we're a connector, and I don't, off the top of my head, I don't know exactly how we'll configure all of this, and I think over time, all of us contributing in some way will get there. But that is where my mind is at in our role.
We really appreciate that. I think because the program just started, we really want to pass the word and to let people know what we are doing and benefits both sides.
So what efforts have you guys taken in, it's so funny. I look at all of you, Cheryl, Ruby, Steve, and you guys are clearly all very smart people, like way smarter than me in technology, right? So I look at this and I say, you guys have the brains to do all of these incredible things. What about the marketing piece in getting the awareness out there? Because that's essential. If there's a brilliant person, but nobody knows they're brilliant, it doesn't do much good. There needs to be another person to share how brilliant that person is, so the whole world knows. So what are you guys doing for marketing to get what you're doing out there?
Yeah, I'm glad that we have a fantastic dean who's working with us, and she is targeting on LinkedIn, targeting people on LinkedIn and Facebook, and um, uh, word of mouth, lots of word of mouth, contacting schools. We've visited a couple of Voc Tech schools. I have to say, COVID put as a lot of people, it put a little crinkle in this. So, but we had visited quite a few schools and talked directly with students and professors. And for the last couple of years, we participated in Massachusetts Manufacturing Day. We did that virtually this year. But we would welcome any advice you have, because we want to just stand on like the roof and shout it out, like, come to us.
Yeah, I hear you. I can feel it.
It's so frustrating. Like, you know, we should automatically be getting these students applying. And last year, the first cohort had full tuition paid, but the second cohort is an incredible deal too. I think they're getting 60% off, 50 or 60% off. I mean, it's like right now people want to apply for these, and it is really hard to get the word out.
Okay.
And meanwhile, we have the marketing team working on some videos. Again, COVID-19 put us delay a little bit. So we have a bunch of marketing videos will come up soon, hopefully. And on the other side, Steve working with the marketing team to update our website. Like external users come to use the equipment. I'll give a brief introduction for each equipment. We're working on that part as well. Currently, because award just awarded, we are so busy to set up all the equipment. All the equipment that Steve showed is all arrived since last year. So it's still new equipment coming in. So we put most of our effort to set up the lab. The next step, we will definitely work on the marketing part to get the website updated and to let people know and to show the work we will do.
Any marketing literature that you have, and don't take this the wrong way, but is condensed as possible, that you could share with us, like a one-pager, so that we could share through our social media channels, so that, you know, I can share with our friends, I can share with the Easton Chamber, and that would be very helpful.
Sure.
Definitely.
And share electronically, but we also have hard copies if that helps.
Okay.
That we could drop off somewhere if you'd like.
And I do look at this as this is our first time we've ever met. So I want this to be a long-lasting relationship where we support you.
Please.
It's, you know, I use the phrase often because I've been in situations where I know something's good and I say, I feel like I'm sitting on a winning lottery ticket, but I don't know how to cash it in.
That's how we feel, exactly.
Mark, I was gonna add, I think this, I mean, especially given, you know, that little diagram that showed the different photonics partners across the state, right, where it seems like Stonehill is one of 4 statewide. You know, I think this could be a great thing to include in our Easton for Businesses vertical on the Think Easton website, and certainly having links to the Photonics Lab in the resources page on the website too. We're redesigning the Town Economic Development website, and this seems like a great thing to highlight when we talk about why Easton for Businesses, because this seems like a very unique and limited partnership that you can't find everywhere.
Well, and you know, we have a high school, and I'm sure a lot of the kids would love to hear what is going on in their backyard. And we have 2 high schools. So we have a regional technical school where the minds in that school, this is their wheelhouse. You know, we need to introduce you guys. You got to get together.
I think we have. So which is this Voc Tech school you're referring to?
Southeastern Regional.
Yeah, so we've met with them a couple of times, right,
Okay.
Ruby? They were part of who we met with. And we had a really great, another dean came with us to that meeting when we were still in person. And we really had great conversations with them, and we really should cultivate that more.
I think it's been a while since we talked
Yeah.
after COVID, and we didn't get really in touch with any of our partners for a while.
Is there a person on your team who's designated in charge of coordinating meetings, marketing efforts? Does that person exist? Who is that person?
Yeah, you could start with one of us, and we can put you in touch with our dean, who's doing
Okay.
that as well. So,
all right. Because well, I want a point of contact that we can go back and forth with to support you. You know, if I reach out to say somebody within the schools or at Southeastern Regional, who do I copy in all these efforts?
Okay, so you have my email address, and now you'll have Ruby's address. If I spelled it correctly.
It's right.
And feel free to give us yours if you want, and we'll have send you the one pager. We could do that right away because we have that already.
Yeah, that'd be great, and the presentation too.
Okay, great.
I think one of the other opportunities for you folks, and if one of our other members, Dottie Fulginiti, was with us today, she would have already brought this up, I'm sure. A couple of things, you know, there's and I know they have different names. I think they're all called Mass Hire and Brockton Hire, but the workforce boards.
Yeah, we're very much in touch with them.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
And then the Old Colony Planning Council, they have a monthly comprehensive economic development strategic team meeting and are looking for topics to share. It's comprised primarily of municipal officials and other board, municipal board members, but a lot that particular team focuses on economic development strategies. So I will talk to Dottie, but I think that would be another opportunity for reaching out. And you've already talked with the workforce. While we're sitting here, I was pulling up a list. We had started in my department, and we did not go around the room and introduce ourselves, which we probably should have. I'm Stephanie Danielson. I'm the Director of Planning and Economic Development for the town. And I'm going to finish what I'm saying, then maybe all the other members can introduce themselves. But we've started keeping a list of the manufacturing businesses that exist in Easton. So what I think I'll do is maybe I can send you the list, and it has an indication of the type of business they're doing. And then we can talk more about maybe the Economic Development Council hosting some kind of forum. And I'll talk and work with you, Mark, on that. Okay. And Matt, I love your ideas. So.
Sure.
I'll introduce myself. So I'm Mark Lamb. I am the Chair of Economic Development for the town of Easton. And I am a select board member as well. Just jump in, anyone.
I'm Matt Whitman. I'm coming up on my first full year on the Economic Development Council. I've been doing a lot of work recently on our website, as I mentioned, redesigning the economic development website and highlighting opportunities for residents and businesses. And so I think, yeah, this is a great opportunity to showcase some really unique stuff for interested businesses.
I'm Boyer. I'm Stonehill's elected volunteer to be on the Economic Development Council, and I've been on council for several years. And I just wanted to let everyone know that if you have problems communicating, feel free to use me as a conduit to go in between.
Thank you, Bruce, and thanks for making this connection.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
John?
I'm John Holbrook, and I own Northeastern Machine Company here in Easton. And I've been on the economic development for several years as well.
Excellent. And we have Craig Barger. Craig is actually not part of the Economic Development Council. He's a select board member, but I'll let Craig introduce himself and his interest.
Craig Barger. I'm vice chair of the select board here in Easton, and I was a member of the Economic Development Council, and I ceded my seat to Mark, who's doing a heck of a job with economic development. I just sit in, and because I'm interested in economic development for the community of Easton.
So that's everybody. You know, this has been about 40 minutes, so I could sit here all day and talk about this topic. It's actually really exciting and fun, and but you know, we have to be a little bit sensitive to time. So with that said, is there any other last questions or impressions or anything anybody would like to contribute before we move into the next agenda item?
Well, Mark, do you want me to send the email Bruce the electronic version of the one pager, or do you want me to email it to you directly?
You know, if you could send it to Bruce, you have his email, and he has the emails of the entire Economic Development Council. And if Bruce, you could share it with all of us, that would be great.
Absolutely.
Thank you. So, all right, guys, thank you so much. I learned more than I had anticipated learning an hour ago, and I'm excited to bring this and, you know, make this known in Easton.
Excellent. We're recruiting right now for the second cohort, so no pressure, but we do need to get applications in soon for that. But it starts in May, so we'll still be accepting through March and into April. But the sooner the better.
Okay. All right. I've already shared it with a number of people.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you.
Bye.
Take care, guys.
Bye.
So Stephanie, that moves us into the next item on the agenda. Is Easton Outside update. We have meeting minutes, but we'll go to Easton Outside update. But before we do, I actually have to step out, and that proposes a problem here. That will reduce quorum to 4. That will reduce the members to 4, and we won't have quorum. So I was unaware that there would be this many absences. So because I have to step aside means the meeting can't actually, no votes can occur. So I don't know, what would you like to do here, Stephanie?
I mean, from an informational standpoint, I can give an update on Easton Outside. I did want to talk about the local rapid recovery program. You and I can catch up later on that, so I can bring you up to speed. And
so if I may, so what I'll do is I do have to step aside now. So if you could just continue it, Stephanie, in an informational manner, like you had just said,
yes,
that would be great. I would try and limit too much conversation. Certainly no votes can legally occur. But so, you know, moving forward, this will just be informational. And I do apologize, guys. You know, we have a lot to talk about. So maybe we should have a meeting before our next meeting, you know, like a meeting in 2 weeks, or, you know, a meeting in between our next month meeting, because we have a lot of ground to cover. But
that sounds good. Go ahead and set it up. Yeah.
So I am gonna check out. I apologize, and be good.
Okay, Mark.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mark.
All right, so the Easton Outside campaign is really moving right along. The current phase that they're in is they went out, and I say they because this is, while from an Economic Development Council standpoint, we're providing kind of facilitation for weekly meetings and updates. Neil Levine, Karen Newman, Darcy Pava, and the rest of the team, Heidi Prisco, have all really taken this on and are keeping it moving forward. So the most recent activity was asking people to, the general public, to take photos or videos of themselves doing what they do, Easton Outside, and submitting them through Facebook or Instagram. And then they were going to award gift certificates. I think there were $25 gift certificates that were being offered by Northeastern Savings Bank. That has happened. We received a video the other day, which I need to post out on our website, of everyone who participated. It wasn't an overwhelming number, it was a respectable number. So every entry will get a gift certificate. And Tuesday we'll be talking about where we go from there and how to keep the momentum going. On the local rapid recovery program grant, that's the technical assistance grant I mentioned back in December. It was a very quick turnaround. This grant program is not funding to the town. It is to pay for consultants to work with communities to develop an actionable plan with specific projects for recovery coming out, for business recovery coming out of COVID, and then long-term recovery and economic development. We were notified that we were awarded the grant. Out of there were 125 communities across the state that were provided grants. We had there was a kickoff Zoom meeting earlier this week, and some members of Easton Outside participated. I don't know if anyone from the Economic Development Council did. And they just gave us a rundown. Basically, there were going to be 3 phases to the program. The first phase is the diagnostics. One of the things the state is very interested in getting out of this program are statistics, data, information about how people were affected by the lockdown and the pandemic, information that they can use in the future to help businesses figure out how to become more resilient in the face of disasters or situations that you just didn't anticipate and can't control. That diagnostic phase is going to consist of a business survey that's going out. They're going out with that pretty quickly. I expect to hear something very soon, and we'll need help dispersing that. So you may be hearing from me and I'll be asking folks to send it out to all your contacts. I intend to continue working with the Easton Outside folks to keep that community, that business community engaged and to help get word out. There's also going to be a site visit and visual assessment of our different target districts that will occur. And there are promotional information, materials that will be going out, suggestions. I'll be looking to the council for some support with that. From that, they're going to develop recommendations and then the detailed plan. This was initially intended to be completed by the end of June. That target date for plan completions has been moved to August. So stay tuned, and I'll be looking for any help that folks can give in connecting with the business community. And that's what I had. Then we had, let's see, website update. I'm going to jump just so I'll finish my talking part. The PACE program update. I did meet, I was asked by the town administrator to meet with the the treasurer and the assessors department just to make sure that they could handle the program. And they had a lot of questions, good ones, very detailed. We received answers to that. There is a town treasurers collectors organization meeting next month, the beginning of the month, just before our meeting. And they're going to cover the topic of PACE program, and there are going to be some municipalities there that are already rolling the program out and actually acting on it. So our treasurer asked if we could wait to go to the select board until after that meeting. And that seemed to make a lot of sense to me. I think what they'll come back with is a higher degree of comfort in how the program is handled. So that's been pushed off again. But again, I think there's only one community that's actually active with this right now, and whatever we can learn from them will just make it better for us. Matt, do you want to?
Yeah, I can keep it brief. So thank you everybody who sent me feedback on the copy for the website. I got some great pictures from Bruce of Stonehill. I have some time blocked out tomorrow, and I'm going to make final changes to the website and push it live. I think we're ready to go live with this first revision. So a great thing to add to the April meeting agenda would be, we can walk through it and review it and the great part about websites is they're living documents, and we can make changes as we go.
Great.
And the only other thing, Stephanie, is related to the Easton Outside website.
Yes.
I've been trying to get the login info just to update
Okay.
copy. And so I was wondering if you could just.
I will get that and I will send that to you.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. I'm just writing that down. Okay, and then the only other item on the agenda was just talking about the general outreach and support that we give to our business community. Of course, we talked about Easton Outside. I just mentioned, the regional pilot program grant. Dottie talked about that last month. That was submitted. That's another program to help communities and the businesses recover. And you may recall that in her role at the Old Colony Planning Council, Dottie was proposing a regional project that would help other communities roll out their own outside type program and campaign, and then help Easton continue to build on ours. And then we did pass along, there were several small business association business relief notifications that we sent around and shared. I did receive feedback from people asking how they submit applications. And I was able to direct them where they needed to go. And I know Dottie got some numbers, and a large number of businesses in Easton benefited from some of the grant awards that were made, the assistance. So that's it. I guess if we can't vote, we can't vote to adjourn. So we'll just say goodbye and see everyone next month.
All right, sounds good.
All right.
Have a good weekend. Enjoy the weather, everybody.
Oh, yeah.
Take care, everyone.
Bye.
Easton Outside, right?
Easton Outside. Yeah, there you go.
Bye.
Bye.